consolidation, the killing becomes very fast. So that means one is a consolidation dependent killing, left side versus K3. K05 is the time dependent killing. So just by this killing curve, it reflects that what is the possible mechanism of the antibiotic. So that reflects what is the possible mechanism of the antibiotic for this time dependent killing or the concentration dependent. So when you to correlate both two together, pharmacodynamic and the pharmacokinetic parameters, we see that the area under curve will be there, Cmax is there, and if you have the already data of the MIC, then you can have the three indices typically time during which it remains above the MIC, the ratio of Cmax and MIC, and the area under curve and the MIC ratio. These are the three possible combinations of the PKPD indices, and that gives the different parameters and different classes of the antibiotics. So the type 1 we call the concentration dependent killing with the prolonged persistent effect. The classical is aminoglycoside, fluoroquinolones, ketolides, and the most prominent will be both parameter you can take, 24-hour area under the curve and the MIC, and peak over the MIC, typically aminoglycoside. I still remember 2007, our MS was a very renowned pediatrician, and one day I had a very good fight with him. I told him, no, you are giving the aminoglycoside, clindamycin, although you are giving the twice a day, it should be once a day. He said, no, it has to be given thrice a day. Then उसने कहा चलो किताब निकालते हैं. मैंने कहा ये किताब निकाल, नेल्सन निकाल दो. So अब देखो MS था तो उनको फुर्सत ही नहीं पढ़ने की. He may be good physician, but कुछ सालों से उनको भी फुर्सत ही नहीं पढ़ने की. नेल्सन में भी लिखा हुआ. Then he realized यार फार्माकोलॉजिस्ट जो बोलता है कभी जो है ना उसका भी कहना मानना चाहिए. ये नहीं किसी ने मरीज नहीं देखा तो so let us don't give any importance to him. So you have to, when you are right, you have to push somewhere. Then only somebody will recognize you. So that was the era. Then the type 2 are the time dependent killing and the minimal persistent effect. We all know that this cephalocarbapenem, penicillins, erythromycin. So here is the time MIC for how much time it remains above the concentration it remains above the MIC. This time. Type 3 is the time dependent killing and moderate to prolonged persistent effect. Azithromycin. The indices are the area under the curve and the Cmax ratio to the MIC. But these are the relative parameters which are giving you the clear-cut idea that okay, what can be done if the concentration fall below the concentration. In aminoglycoside, what is the possibility you can do? In the penicillins, what you can do? In penicillins, you can only do the continuous infusion, like we give the typically in the serious renal patient, continuous penicillin infusion. Aminoglycoside, you cannot do it, you can only increase the dose. So the peak concentration, Cmax goes a little bit above and the ratio of Cmax and MIC increase and you get the better killing effect. So you can do only this, but you cannot change the reverse that I will do in continuous infusion in aminoglycoside. That will cause more toxicity. So this knowledge is giving you the idea what you are going to do in those critically ill patients. Then how much magnitude of this difference is needed? This is the ratio basically, but how big should be the ratio? So because I mentioned that MIC is the critical concentration for all the antibiotic dosing, because all these three indices MIC was the relative. Whether it was a Cmax, whether it was a area under the curve, or this is T, time about the MIC. Now, if you look literature, the two institutions which very frequently, you see the literature, UCAST and CLSI, they frequently determine the antibiotic data. What is the exposure? They also give the data, sensitive, average sensitive, resistant. So all the data are there for the See, our lab, they just give the sensitive or not sensitive, but they have the very peculiar range of the concentration, so which particular bacteria become the resistance or the. But remember, infection in ICU, the pathogen needs a higher MIC, and when considering the trough concentration, because most of the time you are comparing that concentration just near the MIC, it should be 4 to 5 times of the MIC. So see those data which are for conventional infection, if you are correlating them to the seriously ill patient in the ICU, then you have to correlate in that direction, that you need at least 4 to 5 times MIC in calculating that. So this is the magnitude of MIC. That means for most of the time penicillin, you need 50 to 60% times it should be above the. See, if you are giving 6 hourly, that means 3 hours it should be above the MIC. So similarly, these data are there. Quinolones, area under the curve, most of the time it should be above the MIC. So all these data are there, which show that like Renizoid 100 magnitude, that's why all the time it should be above the MIC. Now, when looking these data to our Safdarjung hospital, in the imipenem given to the ICU patient of the Safdarjung hospital, most of the time we found that the concentration is within the range, but in the Acinetobacter, the lower two, the MIC was the 3.7 and 3.47, and you will find all the patients, the effective concentration which we consider 5 times were not achieved. That means there is something wrong. Every bacteria has a different MIC. So that means those bacteria which have a higher MIC, you must consider that you have to give a higher dose to achieve that 4 to 5 times. Otherwise, it will be treatment failure in those conditions. And same thing we got in that result. And the other thing is that there was no basic PK profile change according to site infection. And for normal infection, 3 gram daily intermittent, that is 8 hourly, 1 gram 8 hourly, was sufficient to treat the infection. But in those two groups of infection, Acinetobacter, it was needed to increase the dose or give them more higher concentration than the MIC. And this type of feedback we give back to the clinician who is treating the patient, so he has the ideas. What I feel when we are doing the study or research with the antibiotics, if your peer group in the clinical side is well versed and very cooperative, they take back this data immediately and try to implement them. So the best part is that. Then another study, what happens when the cefotaxime was done in the ICU patient, we found that the same thing happens with Klebsiella. Klebsiella MIC was the one, but the concentration achieved was less, this trough concentration. And 5 times concentration was never achieved in all those patients. So that means in certain conditions you need to take into the those bacteria which have the MIC less than the 5 times than the required concentration, you have to change the dosage. Now sometimes cefotaxime was given to the ICU patient. We try to correlate whether any specific infection or the comorbid condition influence the pharmacokinetic parameter or not. And if you look at the hepatic, non-hepatic, renal, non-renal, pulmonary, non-pulmonary, the only major difference was kinetic was between the pulmonary and non-pulmonary. We found that in the patient with pulmonary problem like pneumonia and all those things, the kinetic was totally altered, of the less concentration was achieved of cefotaxime. Now this is creating a problem in the pulmonary infection, because pulmonary lining fluid concentration then will be, plasma concentration is already less, then the drug reaching to the pulmonary lining fluid area will be less, and then the problem will come that you may not be able to achieve the therapeutic effect in the pulmonary infection. That's why most of the time, if the possible, the drug by inhalation is given, so that in the pulmonary lining fluid the sufficient concentration achieved and you get the desired therapeutic effect of the antibiotic. Then we did a study in the meropenem in burn patient. Now, this is the very contrast that the concentration at the 8-hour third line, there is a large variation range from 9 to 16 point, area under the curve 54 to 980, then volume of distribution, large volume of distribution 30 to 61. So that means every patient has a different data. These are 50 patient data, every patient, and this I have put just time frame was okay. I have put just one time frame. There are 4 or 5 time frames should be there, but because of the then it will be very compressed. So this is the so that means there is a large variation. So on the basis of this, it is very difficult to predict what you are going to do. So what we did, we tried to correlate this with other parameters, what can be done. So we found that although there is a large intra-patient variability in PK data, but the weight and height of patient correlate with the clearance of the meropenem when we try to do. So that means for the meropenem dose titration, the body weight is the crucial part. That means even the burn patient comes with the whole burn, then you must have some idea what is the weight of the patient and what is the height of the patient. So because that is giving you the clear-cut idea how to change the dosing in the patient. So what was we proposed that clearance, this is the formula we arrived and decided that this is the formula which can be taken care to calculate the dose. So all these things are basically done to study some new doses regime for particular subset of the patient, like patient living in the ICU, patient in the burn ward. But most of the time in hospital, as a pharmacologist, we try to indulge in the patient care by doing the therapeutic monitoring of the antibiotics. But very few institutions are doing it routinely. But here is if somebody wants to do all the 3 categories of antibiotics are there, the PK/PD parameters or indices are there, which then in type 1 your goal is to maximize the concentration, like gentamicin. In the beta-lactams, your goal is to maximize the duration of exposure, so it remains above the MIC. And in type 3, there is azithromycin, tetracycline, you try to do the maximum amount of the drug. So these are the therapeutic goal. Whether you can achieve that or not, it depends upon whether by increasing those adjustment the patient is able to tolerate into the toxicity or not these doses. So this was all regarding what is happening in the patient. Now we are talking all about the patient. We are talking about the kinetic, dynamic, doctor and drug and concentration. But what the patient is thinking? See, typically, you see the corporate hospital and the patient lands there and they start giving all the costly medicine. So the typical, I am feeling a lot better than us. Now, how about switching to me to the chief minister? He has a different perspective. Most of the time we forget this, that he needs a different kind of approach also. So I don't know what is the possible solution of this. When the 70% of the population is catered by the private